Hello there, welcome back to Football-Oranje, your home of Dutch football. I'm Michael Statham, and today I'm joined by Sammy, who's an expert in football in Qatar. Sammy, would you like to introduce yourself?
Nothing much to introduce. Nice to meet you all. So I'm Sammy, 22 years old. I follow Qatar football since many years now. I think approximately 10 years. So lots of ups and downs that we're going to talk about. And very excited about this World Cup. A bit disappointed by the result, but who who could say that we could expect more? So yeah.
Well, Sammy, thanks for joining us, the latest of our special guests to come on these podcasts. We've been doing something every couple of days, whether that's a match preview or match reaction. If you haven't checked those out, do go and check those out on our YouTube channel. We've got Football Anya. And Sammy, so the Qatar are out. They've lost 2 games from 2. And coming into this one against the Netherlands, the Dutch need to win to go through. And many are expecting that this will be an easier game, of course, than against Ecuador, but almost so easy that they can rest a few players now and relax. And it's just a really dangerous territory for the Netherlands to be in because a win is needed. They need to finish top of this group. They don't want to have a potential meeting with England in the round of 16 and the draw that goes on from there. They'd much rather win the group, play a slightly weaker opposition in the round of 16 and go on to impress in the quarterfinals and so on. But having watched the game against Ecuador, it feels like so much needs to improve from the Netherlands. There is still this unbeaten run under Louis van Gaal of 18 games, but it's not been great. And I think that if an improvement happens against Qatar, it could be a bit superficial. So it just feels like this game is that stage in between where they probably will win, but it might not be the most spectacular of wins, and doesn't really tell us a lot of how much better they've gotten from the first couple of games. What are your thoughts on the Netherlands going into this?
So I think that the Netherlands clearly has to finish the job against Qatar. If they don't, it would be really, it would be really a problem because, as you said, Netherlands really do not want to end up against England or something like this. So they have to finish the job. But I think that thinking that Qatar would be an easy opponent is a bit wrong because they they have shown against Ecuador that they didn't play that well. It was awful, but I think that Qatar can be a good opponent. They've proven it times and times before, and I think they should not underestimate Qatar, but I still predict a win for Netherlands, and even if they change some players in the lineup. I think Netherlands will still win because they need this win, and I think and I hope then they will show willingness to win the game, and they will not be resting and not playing and just play casually. I hope, and I hope for Netherlands because otherwise problems can happen fast.
And that's someone coming from someone who is a Qatar supporter in this World Cup. You want to see the Netherlands do well. You want to see the best teams do well. Qatar already out. I think is what you want is a good game, essentially, and not another really flat performance from the Netherlands.
Yeah, exactly. But again, for my personal gain, I would love that Qatar would win this game and show up something great, of course. But I think for the rest of the World Cup, it will not be that good. And I am a bit since I'm young, I'm a bit of a Netherlands fan. I like Netherlands, so it would be it would be a shame for me to see two of my favorite teams going at each other and screwing the the next opponent for Netherlands. So I really think that Netherlands have to win this game, and I think they will do. I hope so at least.
Well, let's talk about some of the changes that might happen for the Netherlands in their perspective, and then we'll get on to what Qatar can offer. So, Memphis Depay has been in the media this week that he will start the game against Qatar. A chance to get him to get some rhythm, perhaps to get a goal or two would be really good for his confidence. And I think just the Netherlands in general, that will really just calm everyone down a little bit if he can get a couple of goals in. He's closing on that all-time record for the Dutch in terms of goals scored. He's going to play up top, and he said that he's going to play as much as he can. so that maybe it won't be a full match. Likely that he'll be taken off towards the end of the game, especially if the Netherlands are winning. And then there's a few positions that are kind of up for grabs. People have been talking about Cyril Malacia and Frimpong coming in at the wing back positions. That could happen. Blint and Dumfries being exchanged. I still think that this is a tournament where Blint and Dumfries will get a lot of games. But if Malacia and Frimpong impress, why can't we see one of these guys come in because they're offering something fresh, something more attacking, some more pace? And in terms of the centre back positions, we've been praising Natanake actually so far in this World Cup. Van Dijk has admitted that he had made a mistake against Ecuador, but he will probably play again next to Ake. And will it be Timber or De Ligt? Well, that question could be answered in a minute. Are Qatar going to play some pace or something more physical? In midfield, Frank de Jong will no doubt play, but it's his performances so far this World Cup. I don't know how he got the Man of the Match award against Ecuador because Valencia played better. Young had a lot of the ball, but he wasn't doing much with the ball. It was functional and not fantastic, as good as he can be. But then Tone Koopmeiners, who is next to him in midfield, wasn't impressing either. So does he keep his place? Does he lose his place? Do you put someone more attacking next to Young in this game? That's a question for Van Gaal and the people that are watching. So please do leave in the comments what you think, who you think should start in that game. Then the front three, you've got Depay, who'll be playing next to two other players. Cody Gakpo surely gets a start again. And will we see Xavi Simons? Will we see him finally get a game? This could be his opportunity. Someone who's young and hungry, and compared to David Klaassen, who's had a goal and assist so far, is someone like Simons going to be fresh and exciting and get people on their feet again? Or will we see Bergwijn play and Gakpo play slightly deeper? Well, Bergwijn's been great, hasn't he, in the lead up to this World Cup? But since getting here, has thrown in a couple of mediocre performances. I mean, from your perspective, Sammy, who would you like to? Who do you think who would you recommend the Netherlands do play? Someone physical in defence with De Ligt, or someone pacey and technical such as Jurgen Timber? Do you think it's a game where they're going to have lots of possession? And would you be afraid of seeing Xavi Simons play?
So I would clearly not be afraid to see Xavi Simons play. I think it would be very funny as well, against Qatar, owners of PSG and so on. Yeah, a bit of funny story against with this. But I think that Netherlands should play with technical and quick players because Qatar has really shown throughout the years, and it's been a very old problem for Qatar. The defense is really, it's complicated. On the left back position, we have a combination on the left side of the defense. It is a bit complicated. We have a left back that plays as center back, and we have a left wing back that is still very young, that is not very technical, and he lacks some defensive capabilities. So on the left side there could be a room for I think it's Frimpong. The could be a right wing back for Netherlands, I think. So that could be room to combine and to apply a lot of pressure, and throughout the team I think that resting some of the key players that are more kind of old, that have less stamina and so on, rest them would be a good opportunity for Netherlands, especially given the fact that Qatar is not the most physical team. I think it's fair to say that all of the Asian teams have the same problem. Asian teams are not so physical. So I think it could be an opportunity to do a mix, some technical players that are quick, that can athletic and so on, that can make peace through the defense,
isn't it? And
more openings in the defense, and some physical players in the midfield to win the midfield battle, and the combination of this can really put the Netherlands over the edge, over than they are already over the edge now, if it has any sense. So I think a mix of this, But clearly on the wing back positions, there's something to explore on it, because I don't think that Daley Blind and Dumfries
Mm.
are good enough and are a threat enough for this
Yeah.
Qatar team.
That's really interesting. So if they see these changes from Van Gaal, will they be stuck for the round of 16 if they have a good game? That's a question that only Van Gaal could answer. People would like to see these people come in. But also, even if Daley Blind was having a good World Cup, there's no way that he's going to play 7 games in that short space of time.
Exactly.
And someone like Malacia should be coming in. Interestingly, there's a picture of him on the Onzarani Twitter, and it made us think in training, does that mean he's preparing for an appearance? Be great to have, yeah. I think people in the comments will be agreeing that they want to see Malacia and Frimpong something different in the wing-back positions. And you're literally saying, Sammy, that you think it would be really effective against Qatar.
It is, yeah. And
yeah.
also, sorry to cut this, I haven't mentioned it also, but I mentioned the fact that their offensive apport, but I think on the defensive side as well, which is their primary role, I think especially for the right wing back position, that would be occupied by Frimpong. No, by who would be the right wing back? Either Dumfries or I don't know who. Sorry, but I think this is an important position because the left winger Akram Afif is clearly the key player for Qatar. He's very technical, very quick, but he lacks, again, we can say for the whole Qatar team, he lacks physical ability. And he's not a beast, clearly not. He's more of a quick technical player, but you have to stop him. Otherwise, he really can create a lot of opportunities, a lot of key actions that can lead to goal. We have seen it against Senegal, and we have seen it. It's been 5-6 years that we see it each and every game of Qatar. He's really the key player, the maestro in this team, and stopping him is a priority. And I think that Luis van Gaal watched the game against Senegal and against Ecuador, and I think he had figured it out. So I think he'll make the changes appropriate.
You do. Yeah, I think people want to see those anyway. Van Gaal seems to understand that. He made some changes between the Senegal and the Ecuador game. He wants to change things up. That's really positive. He's not afraid to do it. And I think just a final thing for the Netherlands fans watching is that a lot of hope was lost against Ecuador. It wasn't a good performance. And I think the confidence needs to come back from the fact that a lot of teams in this tournament haven't had brilliant games so far. We've seen surprises from the likes of Argentina and Germany, where they've even lost to weaker opponents. But then surprises like England not beating the US and then not really standing out whilst doing that 0-0 draw. So there are teams in this tournament, I've named a few there, but there have been more, where they really haven't had the best games. Even France, being as good as they are in attack, didn't look quite so confident when defending against Australia, for example. So there's not that perfect team in this World Cup. The Netherlands needs to remember that. And the fact they've got 4 points so far, could finish with 7 points and still finish top of the group. That's a positive. But if they meet someone such as the United States at the round of 16, they're an opponent that I think the Dutch need to be afraid of and have a really much better performance than Ecuador, because so many things were wrong. And I think it was echoed in the comments of our last live stream we did against Ecuador that South American team could be a standout in this World Cup. They could be a surprise package. They play well twice. So there's some things for Netherlands fans to calm down and to still keep optimistic that this could be Van Gaal's third time lucky and his riding off to the sunset with a World Cup in his arms. Or if not, a really positive tournament for the Dutch to be proud of the fact that they're back after 8 years away from a World Cup. Sammy, before we go, you said that you're predicting a Netherlands win. I think I might go with a 3-0 Netherlands win and something much more positive and at least one goal from Memphis. I think that will be my prediction at the start of the tournament, but having seen a couple of poor performances, maybe I shouldn't be so optimistic. However, I do think they'll be back in this one. What do you think?
I think it's a bit optimistic, especially the fact that Qatar would not score a goal, because I think we have seen it against Senegal, against not the same teams and so on. If you remove Edouard Mendy and put another keeper in place, I think Qatar would have scored 2 or 3 goals at least. They are really capable. They are really more of an offensive team than defensive, clearly, especially given their. This is where their strength is. So I think Qatar can score at least a goal against Netherlands. At least I personally hope so. But I think that thinking that Netherlands would score 2, 3, 4 goals is clearly not madness. I think it's really possible, really likely. And as you said, they really need it ahead of the round of 16 because they've lost that bit of confidence against Ecuador, and they need to regain it. But to also reassure Netherlands fans, if you remember the 2014 World Cup, the group stage was not really good, especially not. Let's not forget about the games against Spain. It was Spain, huh?
5-1.
5-1, 5-1. But except that game, it was not impressive, and throughout the whole competition, they was not impressive. Against Costa Rica, it was complicated. Against Mexico, it was Mexico. I think there was almost eliminated. They were losing up.
It's tournament football, isn't it? It never goes smoothly.
It is never a team dominates during the whole World Cup. Again, as a French guy, I remember the 2018 World Cup. France in the group stage, it was horrendous. Round of 16 again against Argentina. Unless this marvelous goal, we would never have come back. And finally, we ended up winning the World Cup. So, tournament football is really there is not. This is not the most dominant team that wins. It is the team that can score in important moments and so on. So it is like like casino, it's always a gambling. It's up to chance as always.
Mm-hmm. Well, Sammy, thank you very much for those words and your appearance here on our Football-Oranje podcast. If you are new, please make sure you subscribe to Football-Oranje, your home of Dutch football. Give it a like if you've enjoyed another match preview from us. And of course, join us for the live stream after the game against Qatar, where we hope to talk about the game and having smiles on our faces, much more confident than we were after the game against Ecuador. But thanks for watching, everyone. Leave down your comments below your predictions for the game and who you think will start the game too. Which players do you want to see?